Mom, I know you always wonder why everyone knows about Granddaddy when you're the one who makes the big sacrifices, and it is because you are a beautiful piece of him. To understand you, I must understand him, the patriarch of the family. So here's to you, Mom, a slice of Rick. September 27th, 1954, my grandfather, Richard Devon Johnson, was born to his mother Katie and his father Theodore in New Haven, Connecticut. Grandma Kate, or Grandma Cake as I used to call her, would catch a bus to Hamden for what they would call day work, along with the other African American women. One of the first times Granddaddy felt his color was in the way Grandma Kate was addressed by the white children she took care of. Kate, they would call her. Just Kate. You know he always hated that. The black children of the neighborhood called her respectfully Mrs. Johnson. Granddaddy's older brother, Ronnie, was his bully, but also his protector. Granddaddy always says he was the good one and that Ronnie was the devil, trying to drag him through the bars of his crib by his little baby leg. And even though Ronnie tried to hurt him, he still had his back, telling the mean old woman next door, "Leave my brother alone or I'll pull your crippled ass out of bed, 'cause I've been wanting to do that for a long time now anyway." They were known as the Johnson boys around the neighborhood. If one was there, so was the other. For Granddaddy, the very nature of history seemed to be changing. As he was going through middle and high school, he recalls everyone was so docile, and all of a sudden in the late 60s and throughout the 70s, we as black people would just not take the inequality or oppression that we were accepting before. This is the time that Negro history became black history. His high school, James Hill House in New Haven, Connecticut, would break out in riots due to racial violence and tensions. Even the white kids were standing up for equality. They were all angry. And as the younger generation, that was their form of protest. The whole city was erupting, marching downtown to the Green and protesting the Vietnam War. When Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated, all of the spiritual and community leaders had to come and talk the black community down, telling them, if you go out and riot, you're going against everything King worked for. My granddad says, that day, we didn't give a shit about having permits. We all marched down to the New Haven Green, stopping traffic and all, in tribute to the front runner of the movement we all learned to fight for. There were plenty of whites that marched in tribute with them as well. Granddaddy watched society change before his eyes, and to this day he says he has never seen anything like it. These were the first times he had ever experienced interracial couples and more of a feeling of togetherness, I guess you could call it. It was the hippie movement of peace, love, and drugs. Granddaddy remembers going down to Yale with his brother and his friends because they had the best pot and parties there. He always pointed out that even though there were differences in color during that very racist time, the Yaleys never fought with them or tried to take advantage. The 60s and 70s were a powerful and eventful time in his life. In the 80s, Granddaddy focused on one of the things he loved the most, his music. He was the lead bass guitar player and singer for his group, the Harmony's Angels. This church-based gospel group was popular and even toured the East Coast in the 1980s. He also lived through the crack epidemic. Crack turned people into someone else. If you were on crack, he said, you would steal the grease out of a biscuit. I've witnessed people rolling their refrigerators down the street in order to get just one hit of that drug. My grandfather always said that this crack was the worst thing that hit the black community because it nearly wiped everyone out. Lastly, I'll end the story with you, Mom. It was January 8th, 1978. You were born to Granddaddy and Grandma in New Haven, Connecticut. You were the firstborn child, his pride and joy. Granddaddy claims that you were a sweet baby, but I don't know how much I really believe that. He remembers how you would stand at the stairs waiting for him to come home every night when he got out of work. When I was a baby, I would wait up for him like that too. Sorry to break this to you, but I'm his pride and joy now. You just got too old, kid. But on a more serious note, I wouldn't be the person I am today without both of you, and the only reason I am here at college doing this project is because of the sacrifices you have made for me. I love you forever and always, Nellie Pooh. Happy Mother's Day, Mom.